women in general, every woman will not come up to bar and say, I'm interested in actually deconstructing the patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
But to those of us who have deconstructed the patriarchy, who are living independent of it, I will not even say independent, but are still dependent on the patriarchy anyway. But for those of us who get it, women function better as a community.
Yes.
And that is why when a woman gets married, any abuser knows that it is easier. You want to understand that abusers hunt for people like they hunt for women like the way an animal will hunt for a prey, right? So if every abuser knows that if he disconnects you from your community, it is easier for them to capture you completely, and it is easier for them to abuse you that way. So that is why they tend to separate women from their communities. When you're getting married, they tell you that you should not keep friends. Your friends are no longer this. Your friends. So if they allow you to have a community, they only allow a
close the door. Close the door for me.
They have practically crafted that community for you. So they want you to be in community with other married women who are gatekeepers of the patriarchy as well, right? But outside that, you hear women saying nonsense things like, my husband is my best friend.
My husband is my everything. After God is my husband.
I have personally warned all my friends, the day I hear you say your husband is your best friend.
Even me.
Even if you're in the hospital, call your best friend. Call your best friend. So my friends know very well to not say that fuckery around me. Right? So you have to understand that women work better as a community. So we need to go back to building our communities, and these communities are the communities that have been demonized by the society.
They call us gossipers.
Exactly. Go back to gossiping. Social media is something they can take away from you. I am telling you, very soon you will see they will start fighting every social media platform that women can use as a resource, right?
You know, I thought of this thing yesterday. This thought came to cross my mind yesterday that very soon they will start fighting against women being online on any social media.
Go back to gossiping. I'm telling you, I am an advocate of gossips. And I enjoy. You see, they say, I will never tell somebody, oh, she's such a gossip. Yeah, interestingly.
You are disturbing me. When I finish, you will talk about everything. Just go for now.
If you go back to gossip, if you go back to having your community, and then within this community, we are telling each other the truth, like we have here. If we are telling each other the truth, you will begin to have less and less interest in the voices of men, right? Not because you have totally deconstructed the patriarchy, the community that fuels you with information and things. If women stop listening to men, honestly, women will do better.
Simon, can you go out of here with your noise? Then close that door for me.
Talking to you everywhere, right? Yesterday we had a live session with Ola, and it was such a good time that after the live we went back to analyze the situation, and we're so happy that we had that session, right? Because you could hear women that when we started TikTok and we started coming on live, there were women who would message they have problems, they were timid, they were scared, they were in their shells, they didn't know. But as we kept on coming on live, we are talking, we have those women speaking up, like talking on the live, they're in the comments, they're saying things, and you can feel that fear is
going.
Going. Do you understand? So when you come into your community, there is liberation.
Yes.
Within your community, you feel a certain sense of power, right? And then that is why I focus on social media, right? I focus on building community, and then I tell women that you don't have to submit, because that is the voice that men have imputed in your head that is making you to make every other bad decision, right?
Yes.
It's because you believe in submission. So by submitting to a man, you are listening to the voice of a man, and the voice of a man is authority over you. If you deconstruct the word submission, you would understand that if you live in submission, you have never lived. Women have never gotten the opportunity to actually live.
I
Do you
agree.
understand? Because they lack self-governance from your father governing you. Then you get married, you lose autonomy.
There was even a pastor I saw this morning. Is it a pastor? I saw a video rather of a pastor saying things like, "You should not marry a woman who is living alone by herself. That you have to marry." Oh, is the one? Okay, I saw the video, and it says something about a woman should be in her parents' house until she gets married, and then go from her parents' home to her married home, because any woman, in fact, I think the word was never take a single woman serious. A single woman living by herself, never take them serious. And
exactly. Now, I want to say something to women. Women don't understand what they represent to life. Do you understand?
This is where I want us to go.
Women don't understand who they are. Let me tell you something. When you come on social media, let's take social media. Let's take social media as a case study. Whenever you hear them talking about marriages, right? Or maybe a man who is married makes videos such as, if my wife is angry at me, and then maybe he's making a skit, like maybe he's scared of his wife, and then he's throwing into the house or something like that. Go and read comments.
Yes.
You will hear men. If you read comments, you will know from the comments, you will know the man who is single and the man who is married.
Yes.
You hear the single one will be like, if that's how it is, I'm never
going to married. You have allowed your wife to turn you to mumu.
Or you will hear this like, divorce her. Now the person making that skit is telling you he's happy to do that. Do you understand? But for some reason, the single ones tend to believe they want control so much, right? But any man who is married, when you see his comment, he will not give you an example of how his wife too will send him to go and buy something. Or they will be giving certain examples. And they make light of the situation. Sometimes it could be joke that is actually ridiculing women.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah, and those things are very subtle sometimes.
The most dumb woman, the most evil woman that you can think about in this world is a blessing to any man that marries her. And that includes no matter how mighty, big and mighty you think that man is. I don't know if you guys actually know that Jezebel was a blessing to that man that married her.
And also Vashti.
Let me talk about Vashti, my darling. Because
let's go there.
At the point I actually changed my name, they were calling me Vashti.
I think what happened that Esther having that access was just like an opportunity. Vashti is the real deal. She's the real woman. Like
let me see. I want to talk a little bit about the story of Vashti, right?
Yes, let's do it.
Hold on. It's in the book of Esther, right?
Let me quickly share this. Yeah.
Okay. It's in the book of Esther. So I just want us to see something that they don't tell you in church. Right? He said it was the 3rd year of the reign of King Ahasuerus, emperor of vast Media Persia, with the 127 provinces stretching from India to Ethiopia. This was the year of the great celebration of Shushan Palace, to which the emperor invited all his governors, aides, and army officers, bringing them in from every part of Media Persia. For the occasion, the celebration lasted 6 months, a tremendous display of the wealth and glory of his empire. That was what the celebration was about. Can you see how we live? When it was all over, the king gave a special party for the palace servants and officials janitors, and cabinet officials alive for 7 days of revelry held in the courtyard of the palace garden, right? These decorations were green, white, and blue, fastened with purple ribbons tied to silver rings, embedded in marble pillars, gold and silver. Drinks were served in blah blah blah. Drinks were served in golden goblets, right? Right?
Yeah.
Then and all the only I'm trying to jump some verses. The only
you can jump to 9
on the drinking was that no one should compel to take more than he wanted. So you can drink as much as you want. If you don't want again, they should not stop you, right? So I just want you guys to take this entire thing and see that a lot of these people were drunk.
Yes.
But those who wished could have as much as they pleased, for the king had instructed his officers to let everyone decide this matter for himself. Queen Vashti gave a party for the women of the palace at the same time. On the final day, when the king was feeling high, half drunk from wine, which means he was tipsy, he told the 7 eunuchs who were his personal aides, Mehuman, Bista, Habona, Bigta, Abagta, Zeta, and Kakas, to bring Queen Vashti to him,
bring her
the royal
like
crown
a load
upon her head, to the royal crown upon her head, so that all the men
can gaze. What a ridicule!
On her beauty, for she was a very beautiful woman. But when they conveyed the emperor's, let's go back a little bit. He says, from verse 1, he said, right? No. When the party was over, he threw a party for people who were his subjects. Do you understand?
So it was not even for the important people.
Not for the important people. That included janitors, which are
cleaners, housemaids, servants,
palace guards, all the
both dog and human being. Okay.
Those are the people you want to display the beauty
of your wife.
You
a
want
queen.
Those people to sexualize and objectify the queen
of the land,
the person that you married. Do you understand? And then they say, but when they conveyed the emperor's order to Queen Vashti, she refused to come. What did that woman understand? She understood she had autonomy and she exercised agency and autonomy. She self-governed.
Yes.
The king was furious. So just in case they are telling you that you must be a submissive wife, and these men are angry that because you are a wife, you refuse to say what your husband is saying, it is okay to disobey that man that you're married to if he suggests something that you don't want.
Is ridiculous.
It is okay to disobey that man. You are a governor over yourself. If you don't learn the ability to self-govern and you don't learn that you have autonomy over yourself, you will be used for experiments by men. Men are very experimental. I'm telling you.
Yes. And they don't care if they lose. The Proverbs 31 woman is another topic for another day.
As long as you make your life
available, right? Yes.
One thing with men is that they like testing things, but they don't want to first test with their life.
And they don't care. They don't care about the outcome.
Exactly. There's this particular pastor I said I was attending his church earlier. He said that he is a healing minister. Do you understand? And he brags that neither him nor his family have ever taken medicine. So even Panadol never enter in children's mouths. These children will be sick from malaria. According to them, they don't give these children drugs. So you see the children in the church running temperature, all that. You know, these things can only happen in Nigeria, right? Because
if it's in a country like this, they will collect your children. They will collect your children. That's negligence.
His faith on top of
his children. Can you imagine?
If you don't learn autonomy as a woman, and you cannot learn autonomy if you believe in the idea of submission. And this message is why a lot of people, even when I come here and tell them by themselves that I am a married person, they still don't agree that I am married. A lot of women think I'm lying.
Yeah. Because it doesn't make sense to their logical, their own mind, that you can't be married and be talking the way you are talking. How dare you?
That was why I want this.
I didn't even notice. Oh my God. I didn't
A group of men organized a live to talk about me, and they swore that I was not married.
Wow.
And even if I was married, that even if I was married, the things I'm saying, I'm only saying it on social media. I don't practice it in my home. And my friend went to the page and she was trying to defend me with her chest. I told her, stop.
There's no need. There's no need.
Don't do that. This lady that I'm talking about, she knows me. She comes, in fact, she recently had a baby. When she was pregnant, throughout that pregnancy, she was always in my house. Like, she sleeps in my house throughout. This lady knows me to the house and she knows how I live. Do you get? You have autonomy over yourself.
I'm so happy I'm able to record this on YouTube.
Anything that some people were asking me on one live that I was on. I think it was Ola's live, right? Ola, I think it was your live, where they were asking that this thing that I'm saying, are my in-laws hearing it? I'm like, hey, I have autonomy over myself, over my body. I govern myself, right? And they'll be like, oh, your husband must be feminist. He must not be feminist. Why? Because he has authority over himself. He governs himself. And my views and his own views, in fact, they don't have to be the same. Do you understand? But I also know that if you make any decision that is dangerous to me, I will remove myself from that situation.
As it should be.
So women have to learn self-governing. For you to even be able to enter into your full potentials as a woman, you must learn to govern yourself. But you cannot govern yourself if you still believe in the idea of submission, right? Now, let's go back to the Bible. The king was furious, but first consulted his lawyers, for he did nothing without their advice. This is somebody who is married, but he does nothing. You're consulting your lawyers over your wife. Why? I'm trying to address that issue of women are emotional.
Thank you.
The women of wisdom who knew the temper of the times as well as partial law and justice, and the king trusted their judgment. These men were Kashina, Sheta, Admata, Tashish, Meres, Masina, and Memukan, 7 high officials of Media Persia. They were his personal friends as well as being the chief officers of the government. I'm saying this to address the issue of women going back. When they tell you marry a man who has people he respects, that is bullshit. When they tell you that, their name is funny. When they tell you to marry a man who has somebody he respects, that person he respects Phoebe or Ludo.
And that's true.
Then he said they were his personal friends as well as being the chief officers of the government. What shall we do about this situation? He asked them. What penalty does the law provide for a queen who refuses to obey the king's order? Right? Orders. Memukan answered for the orders. Okay, who refused to, properly send through his aid. Memukan answered for the orders. Queen Vashti has wronged not only the king, but every official and citizens of your empire. Something that I want to tell women is this, right? When they are coming to tell you that, the man is the king and you're the queen, and you think being the queen is one special position that they are giving you.
This page just confirmed that it is not.
Do you know that those other people, his friends, they outrank you in that position that they are telling you? So I'm saying this to the Munyo Dogus then, right?
Even the president's wife in our contemporary time.
Exactly. So Memuka answered, the king has not officials of this and the citizens of your empire. For women, everywhere will for women everywhere will begin to disobey their husbands, right? When they learn what Queen Vashti has done. So these people are responding based on they want to keep on
their fear, control
as well.
They are afraid that people will start stalking.
They were not necessarily giving advice that was best
for the king.
That was best for the king. They were not speaking with the king in mind. So they now said, and before this day is out, the wife of every one of us officials throughout your empire will hear what Queen did, and we start talking to us husbands the same way. And there will be contempt and anger without your realm, throughout your realm. We suggest that subject to your agreement, you will issue a royal edict, a law of the Medes and Persians that can never be changed.
Last, the law self is literally for their selfish gain.
It was for their selfish gains.
They create laws to bind women. The laws are not with good intentions for women. It's just for their selfish and control. Like they're just control freak. It's just all about them, their ego, and whatever it is they want to cover.
Exactly. That Queen Vashti be forever banished from your presence. You are taking a law on your own wife to banish her from your presence so that other women will not disrespect their husbands. It's not like you don't have interest in the woman. Okay, now that I've finished, I can remove this thing. It's not like you it just a disturb me. It's not like you don't want the woman anymore. But because you have power and power corrupts,
yes,
you feel like you can do anything at any time, right? He said you choose another queen, right? They should banish her from his presence, and that you should choose another queen more worthy than she, right? When this decree is published throughout your great kingdom, husbands everywhere, whatever their rank, will be respected by their wives. So let me tell you what the likes of Femi Lazarus is preaching, what the likes of Mildred Okonkwo, Kingsley Okonkwo, and the rest are preaching is not a strange message. At the core of every system that works with patriarchy, this is their message. Do you get?
Control.
So when these people tell you that they are preaching something spiritual and that is how God wants it, it is not God. This is something that sits the desires of men is to control women. So you can see that they made this king to make that decision and told him that he cannot go back on what he has said. And don't forget, the word of a king is a king's action is bounded by his words. A king is bounded by his words. And they have already told him this particular one, you cannot go back on it. Will be respected by their wives. The king and all his aides thought this made good sense. The king and all his aides thought this made good sense. So he followed Memucan's counsel and sent letters to all of his provinces in all the local languages, stressing that every man should rule his home. So when these people are telling you that what they are preaching to you is scriptural, it is what God wants, and a woman will tell you that she was having quarrels with her husband and she went to God in prayer and God told her to submit to her husband, that is a lie. These things are the things that are desires of men that they reenact on you in the society, and they tell you that God said so.
Yes.
So which God they are talking about?
I had sorry to cut you. I had one experience when I was about, I think I was 7 to about a month to leave my previous marriage. Meanwhile, it's a narcissistic marriage. It's been abused from day one. You know, when people are saying they experience honeymoon, there was no honey, let alone moon. It was abused from day one. And so when it got to the year I finally left, That's the word. So when it got to the year I was to leave in February, we had it was I think it was either early morning or late in the night. You know the way narcissists will just come and out of pencil, they will create a big issue and then you merry-go-rounding and nothing makes sense. So that day it has happened and I was just tired. And I was like, God, I don't know, I'm tired. I can't keep going in this circle. Like I don't see this ever changing, ever adjusting. And I was praying that prayer, and in less than, I don't think I even prayed that prayer for up to 2 minutes. I just saw like an elderly man looked at me and he walked away from where I was to another place that was really looking elderly. And he beckoned on me that when you are tired, you will get up and leave where you are. And I understood that it was that marriage. But for some reason, I didn't leave. I didn't leave because divorce is a sin. The church I was in, submission, yeah. Even the person I was married to, as a wife, you have to keep submitting if you don't want to go to hellfire, and if you know you love the Lord, blah 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 blah, and all those things were my cage until I broke free. And that breaking free was not easy. In fact, it was a battle in my head against. I was fighting in my head about, is it really is? In fact, I remembered that when I finally applied for divorce, it was not because I wanted to. It took the judge to tell me that if you don't apply for divorce, I will say that I will assume that you and him are conniving to cheat the system. That was what made me to go and apply for divorce. That was when I realized that there are so many things that they have structured in the Bible in such a way that a woman do not have a voice. It has been so done in a way that if you not want to start talking, they start labeling you as a bitter woman. They label you as insubordinate and a woman that can never be submissive. And then they start projecting their fear on you that no man can marry you. And you are now wondering if you told them you're looking for a man. They make life so difficult for women to a point where you cannot even think and question the things that they are preaching to you. And then when you question those things, you are seen as a very disrespectful and rebellious person. That one, I said that title a long time, that I'm very rebellious. I go against the Bible doctrine, blah, blah, blah. And it is like the God they are serving is a God that is afraid of their questions. The God you are serving is a kind of God that when you are giving your life to Jesus and you are getting born again, you are also literally submitting your brain so that you are not thinking again. It's just all about anything they say, yes, sir, and you are doing it. And so when someone like me comes and you are coming out and saying these things are wrong, they begin to say all sort of things and also create the fear of hellfire in your heart that you are going to go to hellfire, God is going to judge you. In fact, your judgment is going to, someone actually literally caused their ancestors yesterday that I'm going to go to hell, and that because I'm misleading women, that their blood will be required from my So, these are the things that I hear and I see, and they use it. It's more of a tool to enslave women. It's not a tool to liberate women. It's a tool to enslave women and cause women to stay in silence and not ask questions. And so when you are asking questions, you are quickly shut down using the same Bible. The day I read this Vashti story, I was like, this is my kind of woman, a woman that does not take rubbish. And I remember even when I was doing that divorce thing, I was like, but wait, let me be honest with myself. I'm already living in hell. I was in hell. See, this skin is fine now. I was black. This hair here was the same with my face. I was black. And that's not I was not sleeping well. I was sleeping just 2 hours a day. That's a total of 2 times 7, 14 hours a week. It was that bad.
And that was the same amount of sleep you needed for 2 days.
I was not myself. I was forgetting myself. In fact, I was forgetting my own name. If you call me, what's your name? I'll say my name is Deborah. It's not my name. It was that bad, but someone was preaching to me to forgive because God has said we should forgive. And everything was not making sense to me. Then me too,
and God could not forgive Adam and Eve on the first
Thank you. The first sin, multiple sin. If it was multiple sin, we say okay, they've repeated and repeated. Because even me, I may forgive for the first one, but when it's becoming consistent, I know that's a pattern. I'm not taking it. So God did not like instantly. There was like out of Eden. They don't want you to eat the tree of life or this thing. So I'm thinking, I'm like, why are you telling me to forgive? Because now he has come to lie to you people that I'm not forgiving him. But when I was telling you people that he was abusing me, what were you telling me? Be more patient. Are you sure you're cooking for him? Are you sure you are you are not depriving him? They just, it's more of more laws just for me. But meanwhile, I told them of how he's sleeping around with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that I lost count. And they were like, that's really sinful. Don't worry, we'll be praying with you. That is even if they did pray. Somehow the rules will keep growing. And now they are going, like, the reality is just like as if, stop trying to even expect them to even reason with you. Just do what you know is right by you. And I say one thing, the world will adjust.
The truth is that I like what you said, that when you were in that situation, you saw somebody come to you and tell you that position you are, get up and leave. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because what I would hate is when women will tell you that they got a scripture that liberated them.
No.
When it comes to your abuse, there's
no scripture really. And I had multiple dreams showing me that I should leave.
So, because like I said earlier, this is a book that was written by men for men. So your liberation from abuse from a man cannot come from this book, because this book it describes you as a tool for a man, both for the inefficiencies of a man, for the pleasure of a man. This is how you are represented in the book, right? So your liberation, whenever I'm like, somebody is like, oh, I'm being abused, and then God sends a scripture, you just
whenever I see that thing, you lose me. You lose me. I don't bother.
Can I quickly add something?
Yeah.
Just in case there's any woman here who is being abused in marriage, listening to all of this, I don't want you to take what Ruth shared as a template for you to think.
Please, don't wait though.
I don't want you to take it as a template and expect God to send you a dream.
It will not always happen.
Think that's what you need to live. I believe God deals with us
differently,
in different ways. For those of us that are moms, how we deal with each of our children is different, right? Because they have different personality, different. Eti Achiever. Okay, so I don't want you to think, okay, I have to keep asking God. I have to keep asking God. God had to do what he had to do to speak to Ruth in that manner. Probably because she was never going to leave otherwise.
I think it's true. You are right.
Yeah, for you.
My fear was of the church, religion, what they would say. That it's not even what people would say. It was more of the church and the expectations of people on me. Like they look up to me. So that fear. So I agree with you. No, please don't wait for that to happen for you. In fact, this video should be your own cue.
Exactly. For you, it could be the way God will speak to you could be you stumbling upon the TikTok page of one of us talking about these things, explaining scriptures to you and how Bible and all of these things. That could be your own dream.
Yes.
You don't need to go and sleep to dream a dream. This could be your God showing you your own way out. Okay. And the reason it's important to point this out to Christian women is that they can now take that thing that you said as a template and
thank you.
And
you are right.
Fasting and be praying and be asking for a dream. And your own dream might just be you stumbling upon the word narcissism or something on social media, and you start to be like, oh my God, this is exactly what is happening in my marriage. Oh, that could just be it for you. For me, it was just a podcast that blew my brain apart. And even after I listened to that podcast, I was still like, my case is different.
Mine was my parents' marriage. The first time I knew I was in an abusive marriage was 2016. I knew, and then I stumbled on one article online, and it felt like whoever was writing that thing is leaving my house. But I didn't leave until 2018 December. It took like, I don't even know. I think it has to take God to come and drag me. That was my case. Because it's like God is like, he has opened my eyes through my parents' marriage. My parents' marriage, I made a video recently about it. My parents' marriage, they don't shout at each other. They have disagreement, but the minute somebody is getting angry, the one person just soften up, like, okay, and they settle it, right? So that was my parents even listened to me. I remember my dad traveling for one of his contracts, and he was to come back on that particular day. And my mom told me, I was like, no, I don't want my dad to come back. My mom was like, why wouldn't you want your dad to come back? I said, because he beats me. That was the last time my father beat me. I was 9 years. So I was a child that was listened to. So I compared their marriage to the one I was in, and I was like, this one is not marriage. But I still did not leave. I stumbled on an article. In fact, I called domestic helpline. They called me back. I did not pick their call because on church women have told me not to pick the call. And then it continued. I started discovering, but it took 2018 to happen with multiple dreams. But the truth is, you may not have that luxury if you are waiting like me.
And some people, even if you don't come across something that ministers to you, your anger is
your resentment, your anger is enough sign. Your feelings, the discomfort you are feeling,
come from the devil, like you.
Anger is a gift. It's a gift. I know they have demonized all of these emotions, but they are all gifts. Even God gets angry, for heaven's sake. The God they are worshiping gets angry.
All the time. And honestly, I'm happy to teach women to leave their relationships. Honestly, me, I am pro-divorce.
Even me.
I am.
It's an option. It's an option.
If divorce wants to do advertisements, it should be on the billboard. I tell people it will never come out of my mouth that I'm not for divorce, but no, I am for divorce. It saved my life.
If it's not for divorce, I won't be here doing live video. I will be in mental health home.
Divorce that saved my life.
I will still come back to that conversation of our men need to do better. I will come back to that conversation. Our men don't need to do better. But I'll come back to the conversation.
Don't even expect them, really.
So back to the Bible, right? So it says that in all the local languages that they should send it. They sent, the king and all his aides thought this made good sense, so he followed Memucan's counsel and sent letters to all of his provinces in all of the local languages, stressing that every man should rule his home and should assert his authority.
Who do you call?
Now, verse 2 says, but after King, listen to this carefully, right? But after King Ahasuerus' anger had cooled, he began brooding over the loss of Vashti.
But his ego will not allow him to acknowledge it.
Even if his ego allowed him, he couldn't have gone back, because it's like
he has set a law.
It's like in those days, right? It's like there is a certain procedure that if you go all the way, it becomes a permanent rule. That one becomes so it's just like saying you went to police station and you documented your statement in a letter-headed paper. You can't go back on it. Do you understand? They've been stamped, they've been sealed, and
it's too late.
It's too late. They say he realized that he would never see her again. So his aides suggested, let us go and find the most beautiful girls in the empire and bring them to the king for his pleasure. I want you guys to know what Esther represented. So just
pleasure.
Before they will come, I don't don't want to bad girl with you. I'm giving Esther. I saw one voice this thing like I'm giving Esther. I'm giving Ruth in the Bible at all. Esther was used for the pleasure
of the king.
So that bad girl that you think you are not giving hot girl, Esther was made to give hot girl. Maybe on another day we'll talk about Esther's how they
groomed her.
How they just used her for this.
She was trafficked.
She was trafficked.
Trafficked, yes.
Human traffickers.
Exactly. So before all these people idolizing what Esther represented, she was the wife of the king, she was the chosen one. You know, in the same manner when men do tinko, and just pick one woman, and the woman will come here and wear a ring and just
I see what you're doing there.
That was what Esther.
You just happen to be a woman with breast and vajayjay, and that is all. That is all. That's
oh my God.
That was what Esther. That was what Esther represented. So they said for the to the king for his pleasure, we will appoint agents in each province. Can you guys realize that something happened to the king? He was bitter about his decision. He regretted. Other translation will tell you he regretted his actions, right?
Yeah.
So we will appoint agents in each province to select young lovelies for the royal harem. A guy, the eunuch in charge, will see that they are giving beauty treatment. And after that, the girl who pleases you most shall be the queen instead of Vashti. So when women just come and be like, the selection process for men is the same. So a man picking you, this goes to talk about the conversation I was having yesterday about marriage being an achievement. It doesn't mean jack shit. That a man picked you does not mean shit.
Why are you even thinking you should be picked if you're not thinking low of yourself?
He did it. When they say he would have to, he tested all the girls, so they brought he will sleep with all of them. The one that pleasures him the most, now he be the one going.
What a mindset.
It's like when you go to market to buy chicken and they're like, madam, which one do you want? And you're like, wait, let me carry this one.
And at the end of the day, you now go and kill the chicken and use to to cook soup.
I mean, I think this one, I'll go with this one. And the chicken now comes to TikTok to come and show us the ring.
Only to be roasted later for us. I beg.
That reminds me of one advert of woman juice. Who remembers back in? I think that thing was around early 2000s also. Pick me, mommy. What does I pick? I also want to be a woman juice. And then the mother already was like, "Don't worry, dearest. When you're fully grown and mature, you will definitely be a woman juice, just like your daddy." Then the mother was in the basket. Ooh, I finally made it.
I beg. This mindset is. Did I mention that marriage is not an achievement? It felt like I came for their life, and then they were like, "It's because I'm divorced." I'm like, "You could create a new line. Create a new line." It's all whenever they are talking about facts and reality, you people are quick to try to just shame someone and think that shaming will make them silent.
And if they know, men recently were found sleeping with turkeys. Turkey, let me not even say turkey before English will confuse you guys and think turkey is somebody's name. Turkey, where they use chop spaghetti.
A food company that processes like slaughters turkey and process it and package it to look the way it will be when you go to store to buy frozen turkey, right? They were graping turkeys, bragging about it to co-workers.
Seriously?
And this
you know, since that day, I've not been able to eat turkey because I'm just saying, like, man, no one go test one man, see man, no. And you guys, it's not even in Nigeria, but
You can go for that.
Like it's not even a small plant. It's a big name, big brand thing.
Wow.
In the US, and who knows how long they've been doing it before they got found out, right?
And who knows if they do it in the one in Nigeria as well.
To your room.
Hey, the food is a creamy turkey.
Okay. Oh no, you're going to mess it up.
Is it water?
So you guys,
Behind my clothes.
coming back to the conversation
Don't
of
mess up.
women
Don't mess it
don't
up.
know their power, and like I was saying that
Close the door.
a woman who is uneducated, who is narcissistic, who is probably an ashawo, still has a lot of value, right? I'm telling you, she's more valuable to a man than you can imagine, right? With anybody who has marriage experience, I can tell you that it doesn't matter. You know, when my brother had an issue with his wife, people were talking to me and they were like, "Oh, do you know what? That me, I'm supporting his wife. Do I know what she did to my brother too?" I'm like, even if assuming my brother was without fault, assuming my brother was without fault, and the lady was such an evil person, she is not as half of a danger to that guy, to him, as much as he is to her. And besides, that's not even the case, right? Women need to understand that the day you marry a man, you give him life. I don't know how to explain it.
It's deep.
You give him life.
And meaning.
Why do you guys feel like married men live longer than single men? Okay. And this thing is something that there are researches, there are studies to prove. Married men live longer than single men. And then married women, single women live longer than married women. Women give men life. That's why a 70-year-old widower still seeks to marry. Because outside of money, outside of children, you know, whenever they start this argument of, oh, what do you bring to the table? And women are trying to defend themselves by saying they bring children. I'm like, that is not even the argument point though. That is not the argument point. Men don't.
It's not about the children.
Over this wrong thing. Men don't want children. The way you think men want children. So your argument can never make sense to them because they don't even want those children that you're trying to tell them that you went through this.
Because that's hard work for them.
It is work. It's like you're telling them that they should appreciate you for punishing them. Because this man does not... Make I watch my mouth for this life. But I'm telling you, this man one day, he wants to be sleeping with you steady. That is what makes him happy, right? Those children, men do not marry and bargain for service. A woman bargains, thank you guys for the gift. A woman bargains to go and serve a man. When she's getting married, she does not mind cleaning, cooking, doing this one for him, doing that. Men do not dream about those things. In fact, they don't expect it to ever happen. Just this afternoon before I came on this live, I was watching this video of Trude that he was interviewing this late Bimbo's husband, late Bimbo's friend. Right? And what I kept hearing from that lady was like she was expecting this man to have empathy for his wife. That even if you don't love her, she has 5 children, she had 5 kids for you. The woman was emphasizing that she had, IBD's wife, she had 5 kids. So I had just finished crying before I came on this live actually.
Wow.
When I watched that thing, I've been crying.
I've not watched it. I only saw the snippets.
I was crying because I was imagining what happened to that lady. Right? That you got that level of funds and they are working hospital to hospital, and that she's begging the man. She was begging the man.
Thank you so much for the gifts.
With that bonds on her body, she was begging, why are you doing this to me now? Why are you doing this to me? You know, this kind. It's like your whole life will flash before your eyes that you have lived and served this person all your life. And even if with everything the person has done to you, you have the will to forgive the person. Only if these last hours of your life, let the person just show you affection so that you can feel like at least you lived and served for something. Your life meant something to him. That the guy will push her and be like, shit now, I'm already tired. You guys, it was painful to watch. That was somebody that so when you're emphasizing that you had kids for this man, when you're busy saying you had kids for him, you are emphasizing to him, you're reminding him that you put him through pain and responsibility. The way you fantasize about these responsibilities that you're going to have in marriage, men don't fantasize over those responsibilities. They don't care if they have children. They don't care about those children. And that is why it's easy for them to get up and leave a relationship, no matter how many kids you have with them. So stop imagining in your head that what makes you a woman is your ability to bear children. You are a woman because you are a woman, right? Your children do not make you a woman. And the value that a man perceives from you is not those children. He does not place value on those children. He doesn't. So I beg you in the name of God, and women are powerful when they remove themselves from this role of being mothers.
Yeah.
And you are useful. Let me tell you something, a handicapped woman, is still of great value to a man. I don't know how to explain this thing to you. But a woman who is handicapped, that cannot stand up on her feet, the fact that you were socialized as a woman to have, let me give you guys a few examples of things that you do for a man. I'm not saying this for you to use it to argue. Don't argue with men about your value.
That's justice. If they don't see it, they don't see it.
If a man would ever question, even if he questions himself, and you perceive that he's questioning that what value do you bring to him, even if you've been married to this man for 10 years, I beg you in the name of God, leave that relationship. Because you're going to live your entire life proving to this man that you are worthy of love or you are worth it. But he is never going to see your worth, not because he does not benefit from your worth.
He doesn't want to see
He
it.
will benefit from your worth, and he will not even appreciate you, and you will be sick. When they tell you that, women, please help me block this idiot. These trees they are be what? Because there are some really small boys on TikTok that I think they lack home training. And they come to spaces, you're not seeing anybody that looks like your mate.
I've blocked him, don't worry. I've blocked him.
this just know that, right? At every point of your life as a woman, I was seeing a video of Michael Oropo, for who he was trying to explain how women move from being girls, and that your glory as a girl is in your body.
What?
To
Wait.
ladies,
Wait.
To being ladies.
Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm trying to really get that what he said. He said a woman's glory is what?
That her glory is in her body. A girl's glory. It is a woman.
Girls.
A girl's glory is in her body. Then she transits to be a lady. Then she becomes a wife. He was talking about that. So he now was giving examples. He's like, if a lady is still exposing herself on social media, she's still a girl. She has not moved from being a girl to being a lady. So a woman who is career driven, who is mentally sound, as a lady, then the highest realm is to be a wife. That is somebody who you have to be in submission to a man. So that makes you a wife. Do you understand?
And some women get stuck in the level of lady.
Yeah.
The women that don't marry, they get stuck. They don't get.
So once you are not married, you are still a lady. You are not a woman.
Yeah. In fact, if you dress and your
these are the times I'm always happy I'm not following so many of those people.
So that means these people use English to disrespect women, and women sit in this congregation
and they'll be laughing.
I think that this is Rema. You have a dictionary.
They'll not be shouting glory on top rubbish.
When I stitched that video, it was women who attacked me.
They are usually the ones. It's like slave that loves their chain.
I'm angry. Say, I will buy my glory push-up bra.
So for me, I beg. You feel like I said we'll go seize your phone. It looks like we are going to seize your phone because your comment today is epic. Hey God.
Oh, they would say things like that, and women will think they need to be doing more. Women are constantly learning, constantly trying to improve or deprove. Women are never at a rested space. They are never at
that word rested space.
They are never at a place where they appreciate how far they have come and built themselves as humans, right? So you organize marriage seminar. Now women they there. You are just over educating yourself to go and mate with an underdeveloped person who is suffering from developmental arrest.
That is stagnant.
So women are trying to learn to go and submit to somebody who knows absolutely nothing. If he's an engineer, the only thing he knows is his engineering craft.
That's all.
If he's a lawyer,
and that's because he went to school. Some of them will just use brain to carry it.
Anything. Why are you running helter-skelter from one church, one seminar, this one on how to improve yourself as a woman for a man? You're learning how to make relationship work. I will tell you this every time. You don't need relationship advice. You don't need relationship coaching or dating advice or counseling. If your relationship gets hurtful, sometimes maybe you guys are unable to resolve conflict. I didn't mean abuse. It's okay for you to go and look for help, right? You can get counseling on how to resolve conflict, but you are not to get relationship coaching. That I heard that a lot of you are there paying people like Kingsley $900 to coach you. You don't coach.
Come and pay me.
You don't need coaching. Relationship. The only thing you need is to communicate your needs to your partner, and you guys find a way to marry, to be like your partner tells you what they need, you tell them what you need.
The interesting thing about this is that a person that will understand you will not need you to overtalk. You won't, like, you just say it once and they are running with the vision. But the minute you're having to always repeat one thing, you are married to your baby. And
if you learn these things, you will know that you don't need communication skills. If you need to go and learn about a relationship from somebody, about how to build a relationship from somebody, you are in an abusive relationship. If you feel the need to go and learn how to please a person and the things that he's telling you, and listen, one of the ways to know that that relationship is abusive is the thing that he desires from you, right? Are things that warrant you dehumanifying yourself in order to get that across.
humiliate yourself.
Yeah, there's a difference between, oh, I want you to buy me flowers. I want you to be taking me out. I want you to talk to me when there's a problem. Those are things that those are needs. Those are needs that somebody can communicate.
Yes.
I want us to be sleeping together a little bit more. Do you get?
Timmy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Please, I want you to talk a bit about communication and conflict resolution skills. When women are being abused, they think there's conflicts in their marriage. They don't understand that there's a difference between conflict, lack of communication, and abuse.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to explain to them what it means to have communication self that is healthy, right? And then things that the requirements that a person should request from you that is a healthy relationship, right? Somebody is asking you that, oh, look at what women. I was speaking with a lady one time like that, and she was telling me that they had a conflict, and the guy told her a lot of things, and the guy was insulting. She told me that they insulted themselves. Do you get? So I now told her, can you remember what you were telling this guy that was an insult? And can you remember the things that he told you that you thought were insults, right? Like, communicate, like, tell me. And she was telling me that he told her she does not have home training. She's a bastard. She's stupid. Like, she was calling things, right? Then I now said, okay, so I was writing it down. And I now told her, tell me what you told him that was an insult. Then she said she told him that she regretted meeting him. She caused the day that she met him. Can you see the difference?
The difference
between this guy was verbally
abusing
her. He was abusing her and her. In fact,
she just stated facts about her experience.
She just stated how
she didn't insult him.
About
her feelings.
And I told her, do you realize that you just told me here that the both of you were insulting each other, but this guy was abusing you? You were expressing your feelings. There's a difference between what the both of you were having.
Absolutely.
And she kept quiet. This is how a lot of women they will call you in family meetings and be like, how dare you say this to your husband? And they never consider the things that he said to you. It is okay for you to be triggered when a person says things to you, right? So he insulted her and she believed that she insulted him back. I was not asking. So women need to understand. Let's talk a little bit about conflict, differences between conflict and abuse, right? Conflict is that you are trying to explain something to me, and then maybe I don't understand it in the manner at which I'm not understanding exactly what you're trying to say, or maybe I did something, right? Or let's say I went out and then I'm giving an example, and I did not come back early, and my battery was off, so I could not call you, and you panicked. And I came back home and you're like, oh, I've been worried and I've been calling you. What happened? And you're like, oh, my battery went off and all. Then you can be like, please, next time, get somebody's phone so you can, because I was really worried. That is conflict and conflict resolution, right? Then there's a difference between you coming back home and the person is shouting on you, even if he does not insult you. Or he's raising your voice. You will just keep somebody worried in the house. You'll be doing as if you don't have sense. Can't you collect phone battery from somebody? That is abuse. Those two situations are not the same. Oh, I didn't even realize that happened to you. So those situations are not the same. And the person can tell you when you guys sit down and you feel so dehumanized, you feel so small that the person spoke to you in that manner. And the person can say something, I don't they tell you before, try they use your brain. If your phone off, why you know if you just connect person phone call me. Now you left me to be worried. And then there's a part of you that is confused because you think this person is reacting this way because they genuinely love you. Do you understand?
Yes.
That is not love. You are being abused. You're being abused. And that thing he's trying to express because he has bottled up anger. He's trying to relieve himself of that energy that he bottled up, which is anger. And then he's dumping that energy on you, right? Yeah. This particular thing, it was I and Ola that were having a conversation, and she said this to me that it sort of, I loved that a lot. That she was like, she said, anger is energy. Yeah, we know anger is energy that is just bottled up. So, Ola, can you help me with how you put that thing? Anger is just bottled up energy. You just find a way to relieve that anger, right?
A way to get it out of your body.
Yeah.
Out of your system. So that person kept that energy and the person dumped that energy on you. And then you, on the other hand, they've socialized you that if a man is talking and a man
you
is
keep
angry,
quiet.
They've told you in church that you should keep quiet, and later up in the night, you can go, and when he's sleeping, you go and tell him that, honey, this thing that you did, I didn't really like it, right? So you have accepted that energy, and you did not get a chance to relieve that energy. So that energy eventually becomes a disease in your body. That's how women fall sick from abuse.
Yes. It has been proven. Even recently, there's been a recent research about the fact that many of the health challenges women are experiencing are as a result of resentment, anger, suppressed emotions. So all the cancer, high blood pressure, all those terminal diseases are related to suppressed emotions.
Exactly. So Kenu said, what if you talk and he beats you? The thing is this, if I ever keep quiet, then I know that I'm leaving that relationship. Yeah, young love,
I want to ask Keno something. Keno, if I am your friend, you and I are friends, and then you say, oh, Ola, this thing, and I don't like how you are doing this, and then I beat you up, what will you do? What will happen to our friendship?
It's all over. Keno. But for some reason, we won't do it with man.
Exactly. So women just accept everything that the society tells them that they need to suppress that anger.
Yeah.
Right? And they keep suppressing that anger because when that man says that and he turns and tell you that, oh, this thing, I was just angry, that was why I said that, right? He will just come and tell you that when maybe you keep quiet and you're ignoring him,
and still blame you again, even on top of their action.
Because somebody mentioned something in my comment section when I was talking about silent treatment. A girl had asked me in the comment section that her spouse gives her silent treatment. So I now made a video to respond to her and tell her that she's being abused. So if a man is doing that, he's abusing her. And then a guy came there and put laughing emoji, and he was like, women do this all the time. Do you understand? When men tell you that women do the silent treatment, and women actually believe that they do silent treatment, I'm here to tell you that you are not doing any silent treatment.
Women don't do it.
They don't do it.
They are the ones always begging and looking for peace to reign.
When they keep quiet, right? What men call silent treatment, given this scenario that I just said, a woman who does not know, because this man has dehumanized her, so she's in her feelings, and you cannot respond to him because a lot of women are scared, so you don't trigger more anger.
Yeah.
You're not shouting back at him, so you're just quiet. And because you are feeling dehumanized all this while, you will be quiet. Do you understand? So women keep quiet and they don't know how to come back to that lovey-dovey because it is embarrassing to come back and try to play lovey-dovey.
Yes.
So they are usually very quiet. Then they tell you that women are playing silent treatment. It is not the same thing. It is not the same thing. So women are used to accepting all these things, and when they say, oh, they will tell you, oh, me too, I have my own. A woman will get out of a relationship, and then they will tell you that when you're discussing that kind of scenarios with men, they will tell you, you too, you must have done something to trigger him. Those things are not true. I'm telling you, show me 1,000 divorced women, and I will show you if there are women amongst them who were actually wrong, they will not be more than 3. There will not be more than 3 who actually go to therapy. Who will actually tell you women do not do things wrong. Because if women were actually doing things wrong, men will be the one. Men have zero tolerance. Remember, I told you that they told you that God created man in his own image. And the first sin that Adam and Eve committed was why he kicked them out of the garden. And y'all are wondering how if a woman cheats, a man does not forgive. It is not only cheating. It is not only cheating. Everything. So these men would have been asking for divorce if women actually were doing something wrong. For every time that relationships have problems, sit these two people and go to the origin of the problem. A man was wrong. At the origin of the problem, a man was wrong. So I am telling you, and this is the reason why I tell women, do not go to religious people for counseling.
Yes.
Do not go to men for counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Even if a man is a professional, right? Do not go to him for counseling, even if he is a professional. Because I am telling you, that mass male indoctrination still exists within his head.
Yes.
I was listening to this guy. You know, I advise women before marriage, talk to divorce lawyers before marriage. I was listening to this divorce lawyer, a very popular, what's this guy's name? He's a very big divorce lawyer. He's in America, I think. I
don't know his name, but he's on social, he's everywhere. Like
the one I know is a lady.
Okay, yeah. So he said something. I'm laughing at this one that I am misinforming.
What is it?
I love it when men are frustrated. I absolutely love it. Anyway, the fact that I have power over you now and I can continue to misinform and you can continue to be in the comment section like a fool that you are. So,
I'm not seeing the comments. Sorry, oh.
So the guy made one analogy that he was talking about even that guy being a divorce lawyer, and he has been a divorce lawyer for about 20-something years, right? He still does not understand why, even if I am not working and I marry a man, and in that marriage I'm not working, and it's time for us to get a divorce, he still does not understand why we share properties 50-50. Right? So he's like, he doesn't get the logic. So that means he can also argue that if you have to share the property with her like that, then that means her parents who gave birth to her and trained her through school, they also put effort so you can share those properties. And then her grandparents. So at what point will the whole thing end, right? So I'm like, this is somebody who went to school to study law. He became a divorce lawyer, but he still does not know why the law would say you should share property.
He himself is divorced.
He's divorced.
He cannot, that guy, you just know that till he goes to his grave, he cannot actually learn. His brain, he cannot. It's kind of shocking how someone will have those years of education, years of training, decades of professional experience, and still cannot understand something that a 19-year-old can understand. It just reinforces that thing that what kind of God would want a woman to submit to a man? Because that guy, he amazes me. The degree of his ignorance. Someone who is a lawyer that practices in the US, you just be like, wow. When will this man learn now? Is it at age 85?
I'm telling you. So he does not even get it that this woman was building a home, right? And she was helping this man in ways that even the man cannot explain, right? And aside from that, that woman could have been out there chasing her own dreams, if not for the fact that she was married to this man.
Mm-hmm.
She could have been out there chasing her own things and she would have probably been richer than that. But it was because she is married to you that she did not have access
to those things.
All that. But you still don't get why you have to share property. And you guys see how these men get triggered when the conversation of sharing property. And recently I'm seeing them shouting, prenup, prenup. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well,
people
that does not even work in every country.
5 naira in their UBA account is shouting prenup.
Stop it. Prenup does not even work in the UK. They are going to be like, UK is a leveler. So you cannot even use prenup to cheat a woman or anybody. They are going to create it in a way that everybody has access, like equally. You are both married, you are both responsible for your children, so it is equal. So that prenup can only work in places like US and Nigeria, where 50-50. Just like one guy asked me yesterday that if we don't want to submit, are we ready to do 50-50? And I told him, if you're ready to carry the pregnancy 50-50, then there's no problem.
Taichi said men don't recognize domestic labor as work. They actually recognize it as work. They just don't want to pay.
They want, yes. They don't want. In fact, many of them actually marry for the sake of that domestic work. It's not because they will love you or want you, but because they need someone to wash their clothes, cook free food and free sex, free everything. That's why they are marrying. It's not because they love you.
Another thing that men don't tell you is free advice. That thing that they say his wife is covering him up in prayer is not the prayer that men know. That is not that prayer.
Yes, they know.
Men have a very strong intuition.
Yes.
They come up with ideas for men. If you see a man, somebody like Kingsley Okonkwo, that man is where he is because of his wife. And you will hear that in their message.
Yeah.
That's why I say women bring things beyond mouth.
It's not about money. It's things money cannot buy.
Yes. The things you cannot even explain.
Mm-hmm.
She had made a video where she said,
let me do the math for you. Kingsley Okonkwo minus Mildred equals to a tout and former cultist. It doesn't equal to pastor. It doesn't equal to a marriage minister or whatever you think you know of him today. Kingsley Okonkwo minus Mildred is just an overweight tout that has experience in cultism. That's it.
With his flannels. So you guys, women bring all these things to men, yet men don't appreciate these things, right? So one thing that I want women to understand is this. As we are talking about feminism, individually, right? I'm talking back to how women can gain power now. Women do well as a community, but the community side of women has been broken.
Yeah.
So now there is work to do on an individual level. But when you meet people who are trying to do the same amount of work with you, build community with them. build community with those women. But on an individual level, as you're in your own relationship or in your own dealings with men, take back your autonomy on an individual level. Because as a collective, we cannot take back autonomy as women. But on individual level, take back your autonomy. So those of you who practice submission in your house, right? Just know that you are in an abusive relationship.
No need to mince word.
Yeah. You are in an abusive relationship. So take back your autonomy. And if you are with a man that would not let go of your autonomy and you believe that the marriage should not work unless you are giving him autonomy, unless you are submitting your autonomy as a human being, then like I said, you are in an abusive relationship. Right? Thank you. Pesa said, she said she did it and she's married. Yeah. Yeah. So that's just what I would say. As you're building your community, take your autonomy in your individual relationships. And when you meet women, you make community with them. Let's bring back female communities. Healthy female communities.
Yes, talking about women community, there's this mindset that I'm hoping we can deconstruct. The mindset of women not wanting to have friends, female friends. There's
That's
this
embarrassing.
the mindset is they have betrayed me too much, but men have hurt you. Men have cheated on you, but you are still running after men. You give men so much grace, but you barely have any for a fellow woman. A man will cheat on you, abuse you, make fun of you with his fellow men, and you will still say, I want to fall in love. Oh. But when a woman does once, you cancel them. It's a disservice to yourself because, again, let's even put abuse aside. There are some things a man can never understand when it comes to woman. And it's only a fellow woman that will understand you. But you have been deceived to think that women are women's enemy. You have been told that women cannot support women, that they are jealous of each other. And it's a lie. Coming to the community, I belong to series different communities. Some are for self-development, in fact, for different purposes. But one thing I love about this community is that, in fact, there's one that I'm the admin. There was a guy in one church like that. This guy was a narcissist personified. He wasn't married as at that time. He was leading on so many ladies in the church. And one lady I first got to know about it in, I think, 2020-ish, when it happened to someone close to me, the same guy. And I was one that I forcefully ended a relationship. A year or two down the line, another lady came to report to me. And as at that time, he was courting a lady to get married to her. Meanwhile, he was leading at least 3 other ladies on. And the pastor of his church is aware, but I don't know, he's acting like he's helpless. So when they brought that case to me, I took it to my tribe. Every woman, we got up and people started finding evidence. That was how we got evidence against that guy, and they were forced to discipline the guy in their church. Now, if we didn't have that community, there was no way I would have made a way. I called this guy out publicly. I didn't hide it. I had to put it on Facebook. People were saying that, oh, why am I doing? I didn't care because I'm like, he has done too much over the years. Nothing has been done. If his church will not do anything, I will at least red list him online so that ladies will know. This is the advantage of having a woman community where you are able to keep each other safe. You are able to protect each other. You see, the world out there is really, really like, they understand the dynamics of women. They understand the power of community of women. They understand that your coming together is a force they cannot break. That is why they create an illusion in your head that women hate women. Women gossip. See, gossip. As far as your gossip is not destroying anybody, gossip your gossip. But yeah, like the end goal is not about your gossip. It is to destroy your community. I mean, mindset. They don't want you to have a community together to be able to support each other and be able to help each other. That is what they're after. And the minute you keep believing this lie, the more difficult it is for you to see a fellow woman struggling and want to help. You are beginning to see them as, in fact, a man will cheat on his wife, and instead of facing the husband, she's facing the woman. And you are wondering, who broke the vow? Is it the woman outside or the man you are married to? That is the, see, it's all a form of way to just.
I have somebody in the comments saying feminism has become militant and radical. I am a radical feminist. Let me tell you one thing that I even believe. The world needs radical feminism. Very radical feminism. Right?
And if you're a Christian woman, if you're a Christian woman who does not want to be radical, which kind of Christianity are you practicing? Who are you following?
Because even Jesus was radical. Jesus that was beating people in the temple.
Unless your pastor is your savior and Lord that you are following,
possible.
Then you can not be radical. But if you claim to follow Jesus and you are not radical,
Jesus broke cultures. He was beating people. He was cursing their pastors in those days. The Sadducees and Pharisees, woe betide you. How many of you can say woe betide your pastor?
I want Timmy to address something, because this is another thing I find with especially Christian women that are not all Christian women, but at least Christian women that want to be progressive and all these things. And they say things like, yeah, I understand all of this, but let's just talk about these issues that women face, and let's not come on too strong like this and not turn it into a gender war.
That's the problem.
Like, how can we make this woman understand that you are not about to start a war? You are already at war. You are already under.
There's no new war.
If the war is launched against you, you're just the one that
not fighting. You are the one not fighting.
There is a femicide.
There's a war already. You fight or not, you either suffer, you go for it, or you protect yourself.
Women are not even fighting back. Even feminism that they are talking about, feminists are not trying to fight anybody.
They are not really. They are just looking for fairness. They just want, like, nobody is superior to the other. They are not really fighting,
exactly.
But the problem is anything that liberates women, right? It triggers this man.
Why he does not like feminism, and then hear him speak, right? That he will tell you that women said that a pastor went on his altar to say, when they talk about going to war, feminists will disappear. All of a sudden, they don't want equality. These men are fighting to stand on top of you. They want to rule you. Do you get? And you as a woman, you say, all this on a feminist thing, you open your 32 teeth that it's almost getting to 37. All these feminist women, me, I'm not a feminist though, but because women are still trying to beg for mercy from men. And they believe within Christian communities, right? Even, I'm telling you, this thing is not even just Christian communities. When you go to school and you're, let's say you're studying gender studies now, gender studies itself is trying to remove itself from feminism. They are saying they are different from feminists. Do you understand? They are telling you that, oh no, they are trying to dissect gender and intersectionality. Who taught gender studies is intersectionalism? Is it not feminism? Right? Any space that accommodates
men hijack.
Yes, when they hijack something.
Exactly. When men come, and that is why I still complain about the issue of male feminists. They find a way to be centered in every movement, right? So somebody will come and tell you that he is a man, he's studying gender studies. Do you get? And they will come and tell you, hi, women are suffering. What people are aiming at, what Christianity is aiming at right now because of modernization, what society is trying to push themselves at, right? They are trying to bring women to a place where it's like, oh no, let's talk to men so that men will start treating women better. They just I'm telling you, if men were actually treating women a little bit better, right? If you come out to say you're a feminist, even women will beat you. Because they are not even seeking, a lot of women are not seeking equality. When you hear men who are male feminists saying they are talking about feminism, they are not seeking equality. They want your slave masters to treat you better. They are begging for mercy.
Yeah, let's not buy these women anymore. The suffering is too much. Let's reduce the suffering.
Yes, they will come to church and tell you that women, you will submit. If you want your husbands to love you, you must submit. You don't know, you are dancing on your wedding day. You don't know the work that is in front of you. Submission is a must. If you don't want to be submissive, don't marry. Then they'll turn.
Who is this one now? Come and be going.
Your wife, oh. You have to love your wife, oh. As Christ loved the church. You know, they are pleading with men's conscience to treat you better. And you're like, yeah, that's okay for me. Or you come and say something like, Pastor really fired men today. And what is the firing that he fired men? That he said, love your wife, don't beat her.
Things that should not be taught. Things that should not be taught.
Exactly.
How many women are taught to love husband, love man?
Humanity, and they tell you that is them firing. You say, oh, Femi Lazarus is firing men.
And that is after they are fired women 99% of the time. Oh. They are fired women 99%. They will not come with 12%.
Even firing. How is it even firing a man to tell him that the woman in marriage, he should try and not damage her? How is that?
I don't understand.
They'll say, men, not every time. Sometimes you to go and help her in the kitchen. So which means
help.
It's your responsibility. You should go and
help.
So
help her to raise, babysit your own child. Babysit your own child.
I'm even too angry to speak, please. You don't touch me where they pay me.
Sorry. Sorry. I didn't do it intentionally. It's annoying when I see, and you know the saddest part of this is, so women are they glory in, my husband helped me to cook today. My husband helped me to babysit the children. My husband, I'm like, are you not living together in the same house? Are the children not his own? That is not helping you to take care of his own children. He's helping you to clean the house he's living in. I mean, before he got married to you, who was doing it? If it was a maid, then why is the maid not continuing? Why do you have to? Let me relax. But the thing is, until we are ready to understand that at the foundation of all of this, the average man is not marrying for love. They are marrying for domestic help. That's why a man will say he wants to test his woman by inviting him to his parents' house or his own house, then leave his house all messed up and expect the girl, because she's a wife material, to come and be cleaning up for him. These are the ways, subtle ways they come, and that word test is even more annoying, because why are you testing an adult? Who are you to test the person? Have you finished testing yourself? That you think it is in your place to test somebody else? And then some people will even be, some lady will not even be so proud to say, I think we've talked about that one. Don't even let me go back to it.
They'll be saying that a man not knowing basic skill like cooking, cleaning is a red flag. See, it's not that they don't know these things. Do you get? Like, there are men who don't know how to cook, right?
And there are women actually who don't do.
Men not knowing how to cook is not the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want women to understand the way I see all these women online that they're like, oh, me, I'm teaching my son how to cook and clean, so that he will not. Men not knowing how, you can teach all the boys on earth today how to cook and clean and do all these things. These problems will still not end, because the problem is not a man not knowing how to cook and clean. The problem is that even if he knows how to cook,
he doesn't want to do it.
He feels he only has to do that if he doesn't have a woman. The moment he has a woman, he shouldn't be cooking and cleaning. Do you guess? That is the fundamental problem.
Yeah.
A lot of abusive husbands cook better than their wives safe.
Yes, and clean better. My ex can clean for Africa.
Their wife. Look at the top chefs in the world.
They are men.
Male.
Yes.
They are the ones that make big name in that profession of chef. They are men. So stop thinking that men knowing how to do this thing is going to end anything. It's not going to end anything. Because even if he goes out and earns an income being a chef, when he comes back to his home, it is still your job
to do it.
To do
because he's the head of the home. And the head of the home cannot be caught in the kitchen.
He married you so that he doesn't have to come home to cook.
And so that he can always meet his house clean. As he's coming, he must not step on sand.
Yeah.
It must be sparkly clean. That's it. And it is your duty as the wife that he married and paid your bride price. He paid on top of your head. He bought you. The confidence with which they even say that thing, I paid bride price. You think it's billions of money that they paid. Last and 1,000 naira.
My major concern is this: if you're a woman and you don't know what you represent in the life of a man, men have been shouting that women are bad, women are this, women of this generation this, right? When women are shouting that men of this generation, men are this, women are coming out to say, we don't want to marry men again. But if you make a video to say, oh no, you are not, even a woman who will make a video and say she does not want to get married, why are men attacking her if they're like women of this generation are bad? Somebody even said, one stupid guy that women don't deserve, women of this generation don't deserve a high value man. And I'm like, fine, women don't even want to be married, but you guys are making a fuss to a point where Japan is trying to force women into marriage at early age. Iraq is forcing women to get married at 9. Afghanistan is forcing women into marriage and keeping quiet. Women are saying we don't want to deal with you because you're bad. You yourself, women are bad. Change the woman. Go to another woman. If women are so bad, why are you trying to still marry? Right? You are the one that said women are bad. Women say
and
men
you're
are
still
bad,
going
they
for
don't
them.
want to marry. You said women are bad, but you want to still marry. You even want to have more than one. You want to have more than one wife. And a man,
when they say, oh, this feminism, this new wave of feminism is not real feminism. It is just women who hate men. Sometimes we would even have women come into our lives and say, oh, so this place is a man hating space, Abi. What these men are referring to you hating them is because you do not want to cook for them 24/7. To them, that is hatred.
And you don't want to clean the house. You don't want to actually you don't want to be
house.
quiet for them.
Yeah, that's to them that is hatred.
Yeah.
You don't want them to go out and be sleeping around when they've married you.
You don't want you to them they don't want, like, you cannot hold them accountable.
Why do you hate me so much? Why is it that you are tying me down? You can't let me sleep with 5 other women after I've married you.
After all, you are in the house.
And you call yourself a Christian. Why do you hate me so much? To them, that is what the hatred is.
And you are selfish for saying you don't want a child. Yes, and you're a wicked woman for not wanting to have a child. They don't care, even if it will cost your life.
I was called in it's funny that the day that this guy said, oh, don't think I don't know what you are doing. No, I know exactly what you are doing. I'm just keeping quiet and not saying anything. But don't think I don't know what you are doing. You are you are manipulating me, and you are acting like you are the husband in this house, and you want to turn me to your wife. And I said, what? What does that even mean? And I was so deeply disturbed. Do you get? Because to me, manipulation is essentially witchcraft. If you tell me I'm manipulative, you might as well just call me a witch, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day when I didn't want to be called a witch. So I went to the room and just started crying. And then I texted a friend and I said, look at what my husband just told me. And the first thing this person said to me was, what are you doing? What are you doing? Thank you for the gifts. What are you doing that is making him feel this way? And I said, what am I doing? Like how? What am I not doing? I'm doing everything in this house while this guy sits back. Like, he doesn't even do as much as my little kids do in the house. He just sits back and expects me to thank him for flushing the toilet after he shits. But he's saying I am manipulating him and I am turning him into husband because I dare say that you should please put the place you used to eat in the dishwasher. So just like, it is real, just be this, just be that. You get?
I'm dealing with one case right now.
I understood, the fact that they project what they are doing to you, and when they are accusing you of something, they are actually confessing to
who
you
they are.
What they
Exactly.
are doing to you. This was before I had that understanding. So when because women we because of our nature, right, and our innate kindness, when these people say, oh, you are hating men, some women, they don't pick up on the manipulation there.
Yeah.
They feel like, oh my God. So they don't want to be in spaces where they feel like, oh, this is a man-hating space. They don't want to be a part of that. But they don't understand that what these people are calling hatred is that you are not letting them oppress you. It's like when you pay money to buy your hen or chicken at the market, and then you bring it home, and then you clip the wings together, you hold the chicken's neck, you sharpen the knife, you are about to slaughter it, and the chicken is like, no. And you're like, you chicken, you ate me. Why do you hate me so much? That's exactly what is playing out. So the chicken is now going to tell other chickens that let's not hate men. God does not want us to hate men. This is not. You see the ridiculousness of it. And some chickens are like, no, we will not allow ourselves to be slaughtered. Like, no, this is not of God. Let's not hate men. This is hatred of men. Repent of your sins. This is not of God. How does that make any sense?
Someone is trying to live, survive.
If you have to
not even thrive yet, to survive. You turn it to hatred to men.
And when women hear these things, right? When they hear these things and you are saying men, it jumps their head. When we talk about men, that includes your pastor and your brother and your father. I'm just trying to let you understand, especially your pastor. Women can even accept that their brothers are misogynistic and their fathers too, because they see what happened to their mother and their brother's wives. Your pastor, right? Your pastor, that your own pastor that you feel like he's special, or he speaks Gen Z, or he speaks about trauma, that guy is also misogynistic. Because it is a pastor who came online to say there are no more virtuous women in this generation. There are no more, that the number of marriable women is rapidly decreasing.
Even that virtuous woman, no, if we want to really dissect that virtuous woman, no African man can marry them. No,
a virtuous woman is an abused woman.
You cannot even, no, the real virtuous woman that I understood, well, recently, not of the ones I've known, the real virtuous woman is a woman that is a warrior, that takes no nonsense, that makes a decision without even asking, dear husband, can I do this? Is a woman that will see properties and go for it. Is a woman that her self-autonomy, like everything about her self-governance, everything is intact. She's not waiting to be told what to do, taking permission to wee-wee. African men cannot marry that one.
Ruth, this virtuous woman, is it not? I shall know this one you're describing is not the biblical one.
It is.
Let's go into the Bible.
It
right?
is. We can't do it today. We'll do it another day.
Oh my, you guys,
That
will
one,
discuss the virtuous
that
woman.
one that Ruth described is not in the Bible.
That is not the biblical.
I read it in the Bible. Okay, let me give you a tip. Read it. When you are reading it, read it in. First, read it in
And it's not that
TPT.
she's not
Then
in
read the
Bible, but
footnotes.
She's not called virtuous. That maybe that's
She's
how
not
we
a
put it.
no-nonsense woman. This Proverbs 31 woman is a woman who was abused. That was an abused woman.
Well, I used to think that way. That I remember even making a video that I don't want to be a virtuous woman. But this week, when I just woke up and I was reading it, and I realized that even that book on its own is actually not in the context of marriage. But again, on the pulpit, they've made it to be like it is in the context of marriage. The context is not in the context of marriage at all. Yes, you may be able to apply some things to marriage, but it is not originally in the context of marriage. But then it is what it is. Who are the people that started preaching to us? The people who love patriarchy, who are misogynistic. So that's what they are. They are going to preach to
Maybe
you what they
another
know.
day we'll have a conversation.
Yeah, don't worry.
about
We'll
that
do it
virtuous
because
woman.
I'm also looking at time. Remember, I said I have an exam, so I'm also looking
Yeah,
at
I also
time
have something
so
by
that I
5
can go
also.
and read ahead of it. Anyways, it's a very one thing is this discussion is not even a discussion we can even finish at once. And also, I think I want to believe that we have set a fire kind of that women, please understand that you are your best friends. Stop making your husband my best friend, my all in all, my whatever you. And I'm not saying hate your husband. I am saying don't because of marriage throw away your community of friends. Don't because of marriage now start saying he's my best friend. Who are the people in your life before a man came? That's one mistake a lot of you make. Because you are now married, you throw your single friends away because we are not on the same level. There's even a lady that said something like, I'm now a missus, we don't think alike. And my husband said I should not talk to them again. And she foolishly stopped talking to her friends. And these are ways that a lot of women just like you by yourself, you throw yourself under the bus because by the time you have cut off your support system, the women who are meant to come and stand up for you, by the time you have cut them off, when they start showing you the real thing, who are you going to run to? Is it the woman you have said that after your marriage that ate your husband, or they don't like you, or the family that they have even told you to stop relating with because they are going to scatter your marriage? Is that the people you want to run to? So that idea of because you are now married, don't talk to any friends of yours, or you are in a different level now, you have to, it's bullshit. Let me call it what it is. It's all nonsense. So don't throw away your autonomy because you are married, and stop letting them use Bible to manipulate you. You can see God is not afraid of your questions. I remembered when I was being abused, I told God, I said, God, I think you are misogynistic and you are patriarchal. I was not afraid. I don't know the kind of relationship people have, but I have a relationship with God that I can express my emotion. He gave me the emotion. If he doesn't like it, then sorry, you gave it to me. I will use it.
But how can you not be afraid of someone that can throw you in an everlasting fire? Let's be honest.
Wait,
How can you
I think
be afraid of
I think the foundation is a kind of, there's something about the African God. The African God, in Africa, people are subdued, abused, children, the vulnerable are easily shut down. And because of that, then also the wicked daddy at home, where you are getting home, you are walking on eggshells already. There's a tendency for you to begin to perceive God in that lens. Maybe because I did experience that kind of thing where you are afraid of your father. I could not relate. The way you are treated is how you would perceive the power or the God that you are serving. There's a tendency for you to view that God from the lens of how you have been treated by either a father figure in your life or the people that are meant to be your parents. Somehow it will translate to how you will see God. And because of that, you will not see the father side of God. You will see an headmaster carrying cane, waiting for you at the gate. even when you are not late, to beat you. That's what you will see. You are going to be seeing a God who is looking for your sin. You are going to see a God who is looking for every opportunity to beat you. You are going to see a God who is looking for, like, he's literally praying that you sin so that he can deal with you. That's the kind of God that is being preached, that they have expressed to the average African Christian. They tell you that God, yes, God hates sin, but he does not hate you. In fact, they even say God hates divorce. They didn't stop there. They now say God hates, more like God hates you, that he said he loves, and he even sent his son to come and die for. They project that God as a narcissist, as a sadist, who derives joy in your pain, who is like, he just can't stand you crying. Meanwhile, even the same God said is your tears, he's taking account of it.
As long as it's still this God that they wrote about, right? If they say this God created man in his own image, this is the characteristics of man, right? Like, these attributes are the attributes of man. Do you get? So it is not out of place that God actually has those kind of behavior. Because I feel like a loving God that says you are God and you're loving, just like if I see my father as an abusive person, and my father is not abusive, it's in my father's place to draw me close and be like, oh, I'm not an abusive person.
Yes.
So my father should not wait for me to
Absolutely.
to see a version of him
That's
that is
it.
not abusive.
Yes.
It is in his place to prove to me that he's not abusive.
That's how, well, that's my experience. But then, it's also another thing that even when your father wants to talk to you and you already have a strong perception about him, except you have an open heart to really see him for who he is, you may not even see him when he's also rolling on the floor for you. That's another thing. If you already have a tainted perception and you have made up your mind, no open-mindedness, and when I say open-mindedness, I'm not even saying open-minded to just take everything hook, line, and sinker. I'm saying open-mindedness to hear and then verify before you now believe anything you choose to believe. That's the kind of thing I believe people can do if you really want to know that God, not the God they are preaching everywhere. That
Right down the barrier to people knowing God this way you are describing.
Say it.
The barrier to people being open to knowing God in that manner is when they know that he does not accept them the way they are. When you know that you have to be a certain way to God for him to accept you and not let you go into an everlasting fire, that puts a barrier to knowing him. Everlasting fire is this thing that Timmy said she watched about that lady, the story of that lady that got burnt and stuff, and she said she's crying. That was someone that was burned for a few hours and her suffering ended. And Timmy is traumatized by that. Now think of everlasting fire that no matter, it's just going to go on forever and ever. You are not it's not going to buy you, it's not going to unalive you. It's just going to keep burning, unending burning. If you see God as someone that can put you through that because you rejected him, that fear will always lead. You wouldn't be able to fully open up yourself to him. That fear will always lead. It's like when
and it makes it difficult for you to also reconcile that is a loving God, right?
Yeah.
Especially considering the person is said to be the one who created you, of course, not women, because they clearly said he created man, not women anyway.
So if even as human parents, when we tell our kids that you can come to me about anything, you can, if you are going through and you can come to me, you can tell, no matter what mistake you make, please always come home, always this and that, I love this. But the child knows that if I tell mommy or daddy or whoever that I am gay, she's going to disown me. Right, I'm using that as an example because that's
Yeah.
like a touchy thing in Christianity.
Yeah.
She's going to, she loves me. If I fail out of school, she will love me. If I join band gang or whatever, she will still love me. But this is a breaking point. If I say that I am gay, she will disown me and say, oh, I don't even have a son, or I don't even have a daughter anymore. My child has died. It doesn't matter how much you say, always come to me. Always, I even if I don't like what you are doing, I will still love you as my child. You can say that till you are blue in the face. That child will never be able to fully open up to you because he or she knows that there is only one version of him that you can fully embrace. And they will lose the privilege of being loved or wanted by you if they are not that way. That would always be a barrier. Before I could mend my relationship with my kids, when I left my abusive marriage, I had to tell them that no matter what they do, I will never ever spank you again. Let me tell you, they didn't believe me. And it's only one that I used to spank. The other one was so scared of spanking that she was just 150% compliant. But the second one, that one said, once you start saying, why did you do this? You just be like, I beg, please spank me and let's move on.
Wow.
So I had to tell them that no matter what it is, no matter what you do, it will make me angry, it will piss me off, it will make me sad. But I will never, ever, ever spank you. It took them a year for them to fully believe that thing. In fact, that one that I could not tell, that was when she now started doing things just to get me to spank her. And my head would just do guinea. I will remember that I made them this promise. And I wouldn't. Now I can't. It took me a while too, right? Yeah. But now they can't even conceive. They can't. Sometimes when that one does something now, and I'll be like, who ate the last slice of pizza I left here? I'll be like, I don't know. Like, she would lie. She'd be like, I don't know. Me, I already know she's the one that did it. I'll just be like, oh, that's kind of funny. Because I know I left that slice of pizza here. Anyway, I'll just go on. I'm telling you, roots in about an hour. Me, I'll just go about my business and be playing with them and stuff. This girl will just sit down there and be crying like somebody that Holy Spirit came upon. And honestly, I would have forgotten. I'll be like, are you okay? What's the matter? Is your head aching you? I was the one that I'll just hug her and be like, but why didn't you tell me? Why didn't, I wasn't gonna, I'll just tell you that you should have asked me first. That's it. So if she thought that I was going to punish her or something for that thing that she did, right? She would not come out with the truth. Yeah. Because there's no safety. Me, I grew up in a weary house. Do you get, unlike you, where you quickly learn that being upfront with your parents will make you be punished more. So if you lie that, I don't know who did this, they will just give all of you standard beating. But if you come out and say, I'm sorry, I'm the one who did it, your own has finished.
Wow.
So a child has to feel safe. True. For them to be able to come close to you. And Christians do not feel that safe with God.
True.
They know that their love is they can say,
it's
God loves you
conditional.
Unconditionally, but in their subconscious, they know that that's not true. Yeah. He doesn't love me unconditionally. He loves me based on these conditions. And some people will say, no, God's love is unconditional, but he gives you free will and he doesn't force you. So if you don't want him, he will not force you. So he's not sending you to hell. is you that you are sending yourself to hell. He doesn't want you to go to hell. He only made hell for devil and Satan, but you have the right to reject him, and then that's when you go. It doesn't work. That logic doesn't work. It doesn't work. If I cannot, you cannot say that I have free will, and then when I use that free will, I burn forever. That's not that will that I cannot say, oh yeah, this fire is burning me. Okay, I want to use my free will now to now accept Jesus. Oh no, you can't. That's not free will. That is that same dictatorship, right?
Yeah.
That men hold over women's head in marriage. It is not free will. It is not anything. Yeah. So that is the as someone that has lived in fear of hellfire from a very young age, I understand why women are stuck on that. There are women that are ready to leave their abusive marriage today.
But because of hellfire.
If they have the assurance that God can still be happy with them when they leave. They don't even care about what people will say. They don't care. The only thing they care about is what God will say. And they are not very clear on that. And they read the Bible. The only thing they see is adultery. And they are like, but this man has not cheated on me. He's just abusing me. So God will not want me to leave. See, I have heard women tell me, I know what I'm going through is emotional abuse, but God has not released me. That is a spirit. That is a kind of stronghold that... These are not people that don't know what gaslighting. They already know that it is abuse, even though they are not being physically beaten. And it takes a long time for a woman that is not being physically hit to know that she's been abused. They have gotten to the level where they now know that it is abuse, but they'll be like, God has not released me. And it's hard to explain to them that God wants them to be well. Because it's the same God that will still throw some of his own children or his own creation in an everlasting fire. That's why women who do not deconstruct religion, they will leave that abusive marriage, they will still marry another abuser.
Yeah.
Because they've convinced themselves that, oh, it's just that one that I married that is evil. But they are still taking all these damaging Christian doctrines into their next relationship with the man. Okay, let me stop there because I can go on for an hour.
I'm actually enjoying it and I'm taking it in. And yes, that's a lot. And I really, really do agree with you. In fact, it's even making me think of, okay, I think there's more to really, really go and really research about. And read. Because even I myself.
Let me just add to what Ola said.
Okay.
Especially when she said you leave that relationship and still marry an abuser, right? It brings me to women need to separate the idea of a good man versus a bad man, right? See, if you still don't have that autonomy, right, you will marry my husband and be abused.
Yeah.
Say it for those at the back. So repeat it for those at the back.
Very
Some
true.
people did not hear what you said about marrying your husband now. Because there are women praying, fasting on their knees right now that God should give them a husband like Timmy's husband. So
if you don't understand the concept of autonomy, you will marry my own husband and be abused. Because at the end of the day, the man has the equipment, he has everything that is needed for abuse. Anything, you know, when the Bible says all things that are needed for life and godliness, right? Everything that is needed for abuse to take place,
the man has it,
exists within the reach of a man. A man has access to it. It's like you say you marry a soldier, but you're certain that he does not have a gun. It is not possible. As long as he's a soldier, he has a gun, he knows how to use it, and the gun is loaded. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The only difference, just know that it is... Anyway, just know that you're married. If
Oh my goodness. Oh God, we've said so much today. My time is fast spent. I want to go and prepare for my exam before I start going to fail. Don't let me fail. But then to just round off all of these things, at the bottom of it all, it is not about looking for a good man. It's about knowing who you are, the power that you carry, and not throwing away. Another the one mistake women make is they throw that autonomy away. Like it's like when they are saying I do to them, it is they are throwing away themselves, their authority, their autonomy, their rights, their individuality. I've seen women that were really vocal about a lot of things, and as soon as they get married, the things they were standing against, they start supporting it, like a twist in their language, and you begin to wonder what happened, what changed. And it's like an automatic thing, like a switch. Once a man is present, there's this subconscious belief that a woman lost her independency. They lost their right to have a say in any situation. They need permission, and it has been so normalized that if you are not self-aware, you won't even realize it. And it's even so in fact it is actually normal now in the society. So in to round up, let's just quickly touch on how women can understand that even in that marriage, they are still an individual by themselves. They should not, because of marriage, throw away their individuality and forget that before marriage, in fact, even if there's no marriage, they are still themselves and they are okay by themselves. And like marriage is just one of those things. And again, you cannot even determine when you will be married, because you have to get someone who is in tandem with you, who has the same, not maybe not 100%, but has similar values with you. There are so many values that it's not even just about moral values. There are so many values that you have to check that it's aligning with yours. So if you are now going to be saying that without marriage you are nothing, then it's as good as saying you are dead. So I want a situation where women understand that marriage is not a do or die affair. If it comes, well and good. If it doesn't, fine. And when it does come, you are not throwing yourself away because of marriage. You are not forgetting your individuality because of marriage. You are not sacrificing everything that makes you you just because you want a marriage to thrive. A lot of women have thrown away their vision. You see a person that was a career woman, became married and became full housewife. And it's not like, oh, I'm only a full housewife for a while. It is like that's their last bus stop. No changing, no, like they're just, it's like a default setting. They just enter that default setting as soon as they say I do. And I even noticed it even very recent with two ladies that got married. I'm not close to them, so I cannot even say I want to caution them. But I'm seeing them drift away from their individuality. Let's quickly touch up on this one before we call it a day. Okay, over to you.
Okay. Somebody said men were abused as slaves and they want to take it out on women. Women were abused long before slavery. Slavery took pattern from the abuse of women, actually. So, all right. So, talking about is like you're saying, how do women exercise autonomy in marriage, right?
Yes.
So, let me share a little bit of my experience. I don't like talking about my personal experience because one thing I don't want is my experience does not make up any doctrine for anybody. Does not make a standard. But let me share a little bit of my experience and what I did in my own relationship, right? Before I married him, the moment he even asked me out, I told him that, okay, I've been struggling with something. Because at the time I was still Christian. I don't even know where I am right now, honestly. At this point, I think I'm a little bit agnostic, but then I'm still finding what I'm finding. But anyway, he was actively Christian. I was actively Christian. So I told him that there's a portion of the Bible that I was struggling with, and it is this issue of submission. So it's not something I've been praying, I've been studying, I've been doing a lot of research, right? So I don't agree with the submission thing. At the time, I didn't even have a lot of information about it. I just knew there was something about it that does not sit right with me. So he was like, okay, that yeah, honestly, him to the thing troubles him, but you know, it's just something that sometimes Christians just walk on a particular path in hopes that they don't anger God. As long as it does not take anything from them, let them just agree with us so that they don't go to hell. Do you get?
Yes.
So he was like, okay, him too is not like, besides, he doesn't really care about somebody being submissive to him. It's something he doesn't care about. Close to when we were going to get married, he was like, I also called him to tell him at this point I have more clarity than when you first started. I am never going to be submissive. And he was like, it's okay. I'm like, I have clarity to the submission issue now. And he was like, it's okay, right? Then I started understanding autonomy at that time also, because I was coming out from realizing that within my family as well, there are certain things that I thought I made decisions for myself, but I did not, right? So I was learning how to take my own autonomy from my family. Do you understand? That was when we got married. So a man can tell you that it is okay to not, it is okay, he doesn't mind you not being submissive, right? But when you marry that man, and that was something I was saying when I was talking about feminist men, the true test of a man's character is when he's married. Because that is when it will be done on him that this thing that you're saying is real. Do you get?
Yeah.
Because at the time you didn't mind. But when we got married, there are certain things that genuinely, those things troubled him. My husband comes from a tribe where they are a very close-knitted tribe. So they have communal living. Do you understand? And family matters to them. A lot of them don't even move out from family house. You get? Some of them marry and remain within family.
Wow.
So when we got married, there are certain things that their family would practice, or their whole community, and every other wife that they marry would just do it without problems. And it got to my, it was like, okay, no, there's this thing, and my mother-in-law was like, there's this thing that, so I'm like, okay, no, I don't want to do it. Do you understand? Now, that would not harm anybody. I was not comfortable with it. It will not harm anybody. It will not harm him. But for somebody who comes from a very close-knitted family like that, you know, to an extent, you will feel a little bit embarrassed that you got to your own turn. And so he came and he was like, okay, is this something like, let's just do it and get over? I'm like, they are not requiring you to do anything. If you want to do it, that's fine. You can go ahead, but I'm not doing it. And I'm the one they are asking to do this thing. Do you understand? That thing troubled him. Do you get? It was going to hurt me. If I had done that thing, I would have felt hurt that I did it. Do you understand? But it wasn't a big deal. I don't know how to explain the thing, and I did not do it. Do you get? And then we'll have some things that he will just be like, okay, this is it. Let's go to church. And I'll be like, my husband is not my tribe. I'm not talking about my tribe, Nene. I'm from Plateau, I'm Tarok. So she can just be like, let's go to church. And if you know, like I said, my husband is a pastor, and I'll be like, no. Something they preached last Sunday, I'm yet to get over it, so I cannot go. The people within the church, he didn't understand why it was a big deal for me. But it was a big deal for me, and I'm like, I'm not going to do it. Now, I am not disrespecting him by not doing it. Ordinarily, when women hear these things, they think it's disrespectful. That your husband said you should do something, right? If I had done that thing,
you would disrespect
by any
yourself.
form of coercion, do you get? That would have been abusive towards me. So at first, the first day of me saying no, like the thing hurt him in a way that he was just thinking, okay, I'm just bluffing. The day came by for me to do, and he realized I'm getting serious. Of course, he will feel hurt because that's just introduction to experiencing a woman with autonomy, right?
Yeah.
So he was quiet and reserved for a while. Do you get? And then he came to me again. Then I explained to him why if you coerce me into doing this thing, that would be abusive. So I would not do it. Do you get? And then my husband also understands that I don't have a problem with getting a divorce. Do you get? So if you want to force me by any form of coercion, I'm leaving. Do you understand? And it's not because I'm angry with you. I will just not keep myself in that situation. Do you get?
Yes.
So the whole thing went away. Another issue will come up, right? And then the person will just be like, and this is what, and then I'll be like, okay, no. If it is something, and then he realized he may want to do something, and he'll just tell me, okay, are you okay with it? And I'm like, as long as it is you that want to do it, it's okay, you can do it. Do you understand? Just like you won't force me to, I won't also force you. I can have events in my family and I'll come and be like, okay, there's this event going on, right? Would you like to go? If you don't want to go, that's still okay.
Yeah.
Something will happen in his own family and you'll be like, let's go. And I'll be like, okay, no, I don't want to go. Do you understand? But gradually, he now realized that people were not even talking about him the way he thought,
they will.
like the way he believed that
yes.
was an embarrassment. So it wasn't. Do you get? And then I created that boundary even with family, and also they understand that if it's not something that they cannot pass a message to him to pass it to me as if I must do it because my husband said I must.
Yes,
I must.
yes.
So now if they even want to invite me for something, they'll come and be like, oh, are you coming? They know not to
That's
tell
it.
people want me to come. And then they have their own cultures. I have my own, and then we don't have to fight over it.
Absolutely.
You don't have to keep malice with me because if you keep malice with me, honestly, I don't mind, right? So you can keep malice if
you're stressing yourself.
So autonomy is simple. Do you get? But you have to understand that it will make people uncomfortable.
Yes.
And sometimes it's the people that you love that
yes.
will be uncomfortable. But you have to love yourself beyond wanting them to be comfortable.
Yes. And they will adjust.
I'm telling you, I don't have an issue with my in-law. My in-laws, mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is alive. You get? We don't have problems. We don't have any problems. When people are doing how their mother-in-law calls their husband and their body is shaking, it doesn't happen to me. Do you understand? Because it's simple. I can say no to her. Like I can say no to her son. Do you get?
Yes.
These are people you met along your life. Marriage should not change your life.
Absolutely.
Do you understand? Marriage should not change your life. And there are several other examples of, I'm telling you, it goes down to even having children.
Yes.
Just because you got
Simon,
married does not mean you must have children. And it doesn't mean you must have children now. If you're not ready, you're not ready.
Exactly.
It's not your husband that should decide when
exactly.
You have children or when he shouldn't.
I love this conversation, and the truth is, I wish I don't have an appointment, honestly, and I wish you don't also have. It's actually especially this autonomy part, because, and I love the fact that you even highlighted an example. You made it really, really practical, where people need to understand that you should not be sacrificing your self-love on the altar of making someone else feel comfortable. One thing I know is the world will always adjust.
I just even said, I forgot to mention that at any point that you want to take decision, or you're scared of how your husband will react, it is because you are in an abusive situation.
Yes. You should not be scared to express yourself with the person you claim to love. And the minute you are beginning to be afraid, there's abuse. If you begin to be rehearsing what to say, how to say it, you're already being abused. And it starts with the little.
Children is not a collective thing. The decision to have children, a man's body does not carry children.
It's the woman.
So you guys can decide that, okay, when we get married, you have the rights to change your mind. And that's why you don't have to demonize divorce, right? Because maybe you guys planned before marriage and like
men have lost their lives in childbirth.
Exactly.
None.
If you plan that we are going to have 4 children and you enter the marriage and you don't feel like having children anymore, It's simple. I don't think I want children anymore. And if he feels like he's desperate to have children, he has autonomy. That's why he can leave the marriage. He has the option to walk out of the marriage as well. Life is very simple. He has the right to decide to also not remain with you. So that is why, as a woman, you cannot demonize divorce. You cannot.
Yes.
Tedbaker 004. Your husband doesn't need to hear what we are saying here.
You are the one that needs to listen.
Even if your husband hears everything that we are saying here, it will just trigger him. He will not listen to
And
us.
he will come and react on you. In fact, if they're angry, you are here.
Divorce becomes difficult when there's an abusive person.
Yes, that's the only time it becomes really stretchy. It can take you up to 2 years before it goes through.
There is nothing like you can't if you want to marry because of children, then maybe. But if you want to marry for companionship, there is no reason why, because you feel married and married, maybe children don't even.
Exactly. There are people who got married 30 years, no child.
It's not totally within your power.
It's not.
So there's nothing like you must be ready for children. See, I'm telling you, I tell people that if you want to marry, right? Okay, should I say this? Okay, no.
Oh my God. Anyways, let's round up. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Timmy. Thank you, Ola. We didn't plan to have you, but somehow the energy just drew you inside. You just decided to come and join us. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we will have a part 2, and more like even a continuous part. There will always be more. The reason I have not even been consistent with my life is because of so many. I don't know. Don't mind me. I'm learning too much. I'm trying to, get more knowledge. I don't just want to be teaching just from emotion. I also want to.
They want to put me in trouble. That tell me. If you want to hear, because I said this is TikTok. Anybody can be
recording.
This life.
Yes.
If you want to hear my unfiltered parts, right, go and follow me on YouTube. I am unfiltered on YouTube because even if
I followed you there. I think I did last 2 weeks. I wanted to try and follow you from TikTok, but for some reason I couldn't. So I had to be looking for your name. I couldn't find it actually. It took me till last week before I was able to get your handle. Anyways, it's been good hanging out with you ladies, and thank you to everyone who has watched. For those who have left and those who have just joining, sorry, about to close. Sorry, we do need to go. Anyway, luckily I was able to start recording at some point on YouTube for those that may want to have an idea. So I think my YouTube is linked to my TikTok profile, so just go there. Not the whole discussion is there, it's just but at least I think about over an hour is there. So go and watch it and catch up there for those just joining. And we would have a part 2, possibly part 3 or more. But for now, we'll be looking forward to a part 2. Thank you so much. And to all our gifters, the ones that gifted me, the ones that gifted Timmy, the ones that gifted Ola, thank you so much. We really appreciate that you also thought of rewarding our time. Thank you. And have a very beautiful evening from me to you, Chop Killsies. Thank you. Bye. All right, then, till we come your way again, remember not to lose your autonomy. Always remember you have a voice. It's not for decoration. It's not only for when you want to beg somebody to give you access to what is actually your rights. You don't even need to be begging for what is normal. We have normalized so many things. We've normalized so many abnormalities that when we now see the normal thing, it begins to look abnormal. Hey, we will be fine. It's a journey. We will get there. Thank you all. So this is where I end it and say see you again next time. Bye. Yeah. Yost, I'm done. End it. I want to I want to prepare for my